When God begins to do certain things on the inside of you, He brings you to a place of solitude that you and Him might reason together. In Exodus chapter 3, God finds Moses on the backside of a mountain, running from the past he dreads, struggling with a disability he's ashamed of. Welcome back to my channel. This is your host, Gracelynn. We are in a space of seeking and searching the scriptures to find a more intimate relationship. A digital copy of the Bible is linked just below this video. If you would like to follow along, please kindly click on the link as we open the Word together. In Devotional with Exodus is understanding the voice of God while we walk out of Egypt. Come with me to a place of solitude that we might seek God and find Him in a greater light. If you understand His voice, you will ultimately not be intimidated by the other voices that echo. Reason with me and come and dive deep into the scriptures that we might find a more intimate relationship with God. The book of Exodus, chapter 3. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on flame, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see the strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of Israel has reached me. I have seen the way the Egyptians have oppressed them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I, that I might go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you. This will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is your name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. And God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation. Go, assemble the elders of Israel, and say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you and have seen what has happened done to you in Egypt. I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go, unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go, and I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed towards this people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in her house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and your daughters, and so you will plunder the Egyptians. When God begins to do certain things on the inside of you, He brings you to a place of solitude that you and Him might reason together. In Exodus chapter 3, God finds Moses on the backside of a mountain, running from the past he dreads, struggling with a disability he's ashamed of. God is pressed to move because he has heard a cry. God, whenever he moves in the life of his people, the community, or an individual, it's because 3 things happened. He says, I am the God of, meaning the cry of my people has reached my ear. I am the God of, meaning I have come down to deliver. I am the God of means I have called you. I am the God of your father. For Moses, that meant his father who taught him about the God of Israel. Today, that goes further. God saying, I am the God of Adam, the first Adam, the one I walked and talked with. And so purpose is not for you. Purpose is for the voice that's been ringing in the ear of God to deliver. A child who needs help has a certain voice. God has called it in Exodus chapter 3 a cry. God says to Moses, "The cry of my people has caused me to come down." Your purpose is not for you, it's connected to the cry. Your fruit is not for you, it's connected to the one that is hungry. Your spring is not for you, it's for the one that is thirsty. You are not your own. You were born to serve those with a certain cry. Your disability has nothing to do with your voice. Your education has nothing to do with your value. God saying to somebody, until I become the God of you, the cry I hear connected to your purpose, you will never hear it. If you can't hear the cry of urgency for deliverance connected to your purpose, purpose becomes purposeless. There is a vast difference between being hungry and starving. When your body switches from hunger to starvation, you are now in a completely different space. The space you now sit leads only to death. When mankind cried out in Genesis, God was the only person that could hear and answer. He sent an advocate in the place of that cry. His name is Jesus. Jesus is the advocate that answers every cry. He is the answer to every burden. He is the hope for the hopeless. Purpose has called you to be the tree that gives life, the fruit that causes the hungry to be filled. Purpose is the answer to somebody's voice crying out to God. And so God says to Moses in Genesis chapter 3 verse 12, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. In taking your own route and hearing your own voice, there will never be fulfillment. And because God wants you to be whole, He wants you to be a unit with Him, connected to Him. He says, I want to be the God of you, so that you will become a part of me. Exodus chapter 3 is a call of service. It was after Moses accepted purpose, he became closer to God. It was after Moses gave himself to God that he received from God. It was after God became the God of Moses that the people of Israel's cry was answered. God is calling you today. If you hear His voice, answer. Answering the call of purpose over your life is the call of answering someone else's cry. I am your host, Gracelynn, echoing the voice of love. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video. Your devotional for Exodus chapter 3. I will see you next time.